Welcome to this broadcast of Barron Sports Talk here at Ben Davis Ford, of course. We're not there today. We're here live at the gymnasium for the big scrimmage and inter-squad game that we end up having, and we want to welcome you to Sports Talk here today. Of course, I'm your host, Joe Snyder, and I'm joined by some basketball players, and we'll have a constant stream of interviews from different folks from the different programs. And we want to put a big shout out and thanks to the generosity of the following program sponsors: Auburn Essential Services, DeKalb Health, Steel Dynamics, Bowles Frozen Desserts, Smith Teas, Feller and Clark Funeral Homes, Gibson's Heating and Plumbing, FC Tucker, Malcolm and Schluter Realtors, Kelly Southern State Farm, Albright's One Stop Grocery and Supermarket in Corona, Jamel Flooring, the Ben Davis Auto Group, Brown & Brown Insurance, Nixon Homes, Classic City Body and Paint, Smith Farms Manor, Joyce Hefty Koval Insurance Agency, Betts Nursing Home, Beacon Credit Union, Metal Technologies, Vision Source, Medford Weber and Blythe Attorneys at Law, Indiana Physical Therapy, Auburn Dental Associates, Taylor Rental, Best Deal Auto Sales, Bernadette Salon, The Forget Me Not Boutique, Big Red Sports, Jeremiah's, DeKalb Chiropractic, and Drive Right Academy. And of course, it's the start of the basketball season, and there's nothing more fun when I can think about it as far as starting the winter season and really getting things kicking off. And we're going to start out with some really big superstars here on the program, and hey, I got to tell you, that's something. This is pretty exciting finally to get to basketball season.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now you just finished out with football season. Of course, we've got the big banquet tonight with football, and obviously there's an awful lot to look forward to. But hey, what can you tell us a little bit about coming out of last year and last season, and really what do we look forward to in this season?
Last year we got a lot of great leadership from like the four seniors we had last year. Learned a lot from those guys. They had a lot of skill, a lot of leadership, and just passing it on with me and Dalton. I think there's a lot of trust in this year's group. I think we work well as a unit, and I'm just really excited to see how that's going to play out this year. I think it'll be good.
Well, that's something that it is a lot of fun, and everybody's having a lot of fun. Now, obviously you come out of football season, what kind of preparation do you have coming into basketball?
For football, obviously, the strength helps me a lot. Conditioning's a little bit different. I got to get back in shape, but definitely strength and obviously like leadership. Quarterback got to be a leader. So I'm bringing strength and leadership to the table, which I think is going to be helpful.
Well, and let our folks know a little bit more about your role this year on the team, and what does that look like as far as going forward this season? Obviously, we've got the big game coming up. It's going to be our kickoff game against Northrop. And that's going to be coming up this Wednesday, correct?
Yep.
Here at home.
Mm-hmm.
And so, obviously, as far as a role here this year as leadership, what does that look like for you on the team?
Really just like being a vocal leader, getting after the guys on the court, getting rebounds, being that scrappy guy, doing whatever coach tells me to do. I'll do whatever he needs me to do. I mean, I'll play any spot he needs me to.
Well, and last year when we played Northrop, it was a physical game and it was a scrappy game. I think they were kind of undersized somewhat compared to other seasons, and they came out and they played a lot of trap defense. They came out and they ended up really trying to close things down early in that game. What's it going to be this season? What are we going to end up having to do to kind of power up and be prepared for that start off and that kickoff to the season?
They're returning a lot of the same guys, plus added Sidney Curry, so they've got some size in the paint now. I think we're just going to have to handle the guard pressure like last year. It's, Northrop, they're always quick. If we can handle the pressure and then limit Curry on the inside, I think we'll be good.
Well, and that's something that, when you look at this season, we ended up having some great seniors that went on from last year, and every year it's that fruition. That's that opportunity for the next class to step up and bring something new to the game. What kind of, what kind of an element do you feel that this senior group brings to the game? And what kind of a tone do you want to set forward in legacy here for DeKalb basketball?
I think we're just like that type of scrappy, like hustle. Like I know me and Dalton both, we like to get after it on the boards. I think that's a key part of the game. Like if you can win the rebound battle, then you're in good shape. And I think just that hustle, like determination kind of factor, I think we both bring to the table.
Fantastic. Well, I tell you what, Kyle, it's a pleasure talking to you here this morning. Stay with us on the program. We'll have some shout-outs for you in just a moment. But we're going to turn our attention now to Mr. Dalton Smith. And Dalton, I got to tell you, this is really an exciting opportunity this year for basketball. Both of you guys have been with the program throughout your 4 years. And when you take a look at this, what does it mean for you as far as within this leadership role and what you want to bring to the table this season for our basketball fans?
It means everything. I mean, I've been playing varsity since sophomore year, so I've had a lot of experience with different kind of roles of leadership, looking up to other guys that are in the upper class, and I'm just excited to take that role myself.
Well, that's something that at different times we've seen both of you step up in different games, and that's something that there's some different games that have shown basically some of the skills that you guys have had in the past. Can you think of some key moments and some key games you've had so far in your career, and kind of the element of really excitement that you want to end up bringing this season?
I'd say last year one of my best games was against Leo. It was a tough game. We played hard, but I got a lot of experience because we went through some adversity last year with our seniors out with injuries, and I think Leo was my best game, stepping up and taking control like on offense.
Well, and going back to your sophomore year, I think there's another big key game that was in there that led to an overtime event where we came back and ended up being victorious against Angola, and that was a huge key moment as well in your career. Can you really kind of relate to everybody out there what it's like to be a player on the court and make that shot that brings us back into the game, and really the element, because it's not just the play that happens as far as the shot, it's the defense that happens, and then when you come away victorious, what does that mean to you and your support of the Cal Barons?
It's just like all the hard work that the coaches put behind it and the players, like, that people don't see, and it really like means everything when it finally pays off.
Fantastic. Now, what kind of a legacy and tone do you want to set for the underclassmen? What kind of leadership do you want to bring to them?
Like every day, like you're not going to be playing your best, you're not going to be feeling your best, but every day you got to play your heart out, play 100%, even if you're not feeling the greatest.
Well, and that's something that, what would you say is your favorite shot to take on the court? Do you like to get back in the perimeter and shoot the threes? Do you like to make that move with that nice left hand coming inside? I mean, that one to me is kind of like, that's like your signature move. That roll in and then that pop up with the left just seems to be like so natural to you, and it's kind of adverse to most other players.
Yeah, for some reason, I mean, I'm a righty, but like I love to go for that left-handed layup, I guess you would say. Yeah, I like shooting the three, but I love driving and kicking and driving and finishing at the basket.
Fantastic. And Kyle, for you, what would you say is your favorite shot out there offensively?
I definitely love shooting threes.
You love it, yeah. Now,
Yep.
now, is it the stop jump for the three, or is it the roll in, just a run and gun?
I'm more of a set shooter, so
Yeah.
just catch it, someone drive and kick, catch it on the wing, get your shot.
Now, neither one of you guys are strangers to the crowd noise and the fans and the level of excitement when you make that shot. Kyle, can you tell me what it's like in that element, in that moment, when you let that one loose and it falls through the hoop in a key moment and you hear the crowd go nuts?
I mean, it's just great. Like you see it go in. It's like you hear everybody. Just that feeling, and then I mean, just knowing that it's good for yourself, but like good for the team. It's all around great.
Well, and that's something, Dalton, you're no stranger to it as well, and that's something we've heard some really exciting crowds and had exciting moments of gameplay through both of you guys throughout these last 4 years. And what's it like for you in that moment when you step up and hear that crowd out there shouting and supporting you?
It's nothing like a feeling that you can really explain, I guess you would say, but it just feels amazing.
Well, I tell you what, it is such a pleasure to have you guys here on the show this morning. We wish you the best of luck in the start of your season. And I got to tell you what, guys, are there any goals that you have as far as stretch goals going through the season? We ended up having a great play coming in. We had a sectional win, of course, last year on the road over at East Noble, and that's something that is there any kind of early talk of guys wanting to get things like potentially at the end of the season sectional win or being able to go a little bit further in the tournament this season?
I think for me, definitely go further. Like last year, we won one game, but we always, once we get to those East Nobles, North Sides, Carrolls, we always have trouble with them. So getting past some of those guys, I think, would be something we can do this year.
And who would you say would be the biggest competitor, Dalton, that we have to face, the win that we just want to get, the team that we want to just basically make sure that we are dominant
on? This year, I'd say, I mean, we've lost to East Noble like every year. It's been some really close games too. We've been up at halftime by like 15 points. They came back, gave us a dogfight. I just really want to beat East Noble this year.
And how about you?
Same.
All right. Well, I tell you what, any final shout-outs you have to our listeners and viewers today?
Shout out to my mom.
Fantastic.
That's about it.
All right. Well, not your brother?
Okay, shout out to him too.
And Dalton, who would you like to shout out on the show this morning?
Shout out to my grandparents and my parents.
Fantastic. Well, we want to echo those shout outs. And, guys, best of luck this season as you move forward into the program and the basketball season. We'd like to have you on the show lots of times with highlights and really some great things for our fans to see out here as far as programs. And we wish you well. Coming up in Game 1 this Wednesday, and now tip-off, JV going to be at 6 o'clock here at DeKalb.
Yep.
And so it'll be about 7:30 or so for varsity as far
Yep.
as to kick in. So, hey, guys, we're going to be out here in black and red ready to support you. So best of luck starting out this season.
Thank you.
Thanks so much
Thank
for
you.
being on the show.
Pleasure being here.
And, folks, of course, it's time for us to talk a little bit to some of our other players. We're going to, I don't know if Coach Cohn's going to join us next or if we're going to end up talking to Coach Eltsroth and the Lady Barons. But it's a good time for us to end up putting some of those shout-outs out to a lot of our listeners. And that's something that, hey, folks, we've got some great fans out there, but we've got some super great sponsors as well here on Sports Talk. It's DeKalb Health. Promote, preserve, restore your health today at DeKalb Health. And it's Feller and Clark Funeral Homes, celebrating the memories of our loved ones. Auburn Essential Services, keeping our DeKalb County connected. And we also have Steel Dynamics Incorporated. For your steel needs, choose SDI, a proven industry leader. Bowles Frozen Desserts. Stop by Bowles Frozen Desserts after the game. Bowles is a proud supporter of the DeKalb Barons. Smith Tees. Get your DeKalb gear, T-shirts, and more at Smith Tees in downtown Auburn. The one and only Albright's one-stop grocery and supermarket in Corona, providing the freshest meats, best deli selection, and incredible values to your table. The Ben Davis Auto Group, proud sponsors of DeKalb Sports Talk. The Ben Davis Auto Group, where our price sells cars. Brown & Brown Insurance, combining local service with global expertise. Stop by and see Herb Horham today for all of your insurance needs. Joyce Hefty Koval Insurance Agency, meeting your insurance needs in a timely, respectful manner. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Jeremiah's, Auburn's favorite brewed sensation destination. Taylor Rental, your one-stop getting it done right rental headquarters. And Drive Right Academy, making safe drivers. And, of course, we're joined this morning with coach of the DeKalb Barons, Rod Cohn. And, Coach Cohn, this really promises to be an exciting season this year. Can you let our fans know a little bit, coming out of last year, where we finished out last year, where were our key moments, key victories, and what do we have looking forward this year with some of the new players on the team and on the squad, the way the senior leadership stacks up, and what are some of the stretch goals we have for this season for the squad?
Sure, I'll start out by talking about last year's team a little bit. We were led by 4 seniors, and we're going to miss those guys greatly, and they provided a lot of our scoring, rebounding, leadership. But what was great about last year is our underclassmen got to see that, and now they're modeling that, and especially with our 2 seniors this year, and Dalton Smith and Kyle Dunham. And so we're looking for a lot of leadership out of them, a lot of guidance for them, because we have a team that's not seeing a ton of experience on the varsity level. We have some freshmen moving up and maybe getting some playing time, but they have to learn. They have to learn how our culture is, how we do things here, and so we're going to be led by our 2 seniors. We also have some Caleb Nixon and Cole Richmond coming back, who got some varsity experience last year due to the injuries and just their growth that they demonstrated throughout the year. We have Easton Rhodes will play some good minutes. We have a transfer in Evan Eschbach, who comes to us from Wawasee. Our depth is going to be tremendous. Evan Snyder, Carter Dick. We went 12 or 13 deep last night in our scrimmage, and we're going to do that this year, so we should be able to get after it. And so we're looking. We had a big victory against Snyder in the sectional when we had a couple people down with injuries, and some of our guys had to step up that are on the team this year. And we're just looking to keep building this program into a team that's very difficult to beat anytime we step on the floor.
Well, that's something that we had. We really had a good season last year, and we had a great group of guys in that, seniors, as you mentioned. And, experience is so much a part of the game. And when you have a younger core, that is a tough thing to end up culture. They're going to have to come out in game 1 up against Northrop. And
Yeah.
we had a tough showing last year against Northrop at Northrop. Now we're going to host them this year. And that's something that this senior squad has to bring that leadership with some players that are going to have to earn their experience playing against a pretty big competitor here in the area.
Yeah, I saw where Northrop's favored to win the SAC. They had a move-in and Curry, one of the dominant post people in our state, one of the top 5 players in the state. Then they had another guard move in, and and very athletic. Most of the starters last year were sophomores for them, and so we'll learn, pretty quick what it is to play a top-level team in our state. There won't be too many teams around in the state that's much more athletic than what we're going to see our first game, and so we got to take from the scrimmage last night, and we'll have practice today after this pancake breakfast, which was a phenomenal showing, and this will be a team that will get better as the year goes along because the experience will come. They'll learn what it takes to play at the varsity level, just not just the physicality of it, but the mental toughness you have to play to win a game here and in this part of the state, and which I think has the best basketball in the state, Northern Indiana.
Well, I'd have to agree with that, and that's something. There's something special about Indiana basketball to begin with, and there's a lot of excitement as the season gets started. And one of the things that is very fascinating about this is coming right out of the gate playing a high-level competitor, and we do almost every year, starting out with Northrop. And in doing so, we end up having some other great competition throughout the year. We end up seeing many times Northside as well. They tend to really bring it. And, there's, East Noble, we end up having some great matchups over the last few years. But that's something I know just talking to the guys, those are some of the targets they have early and goals that they have as far as getting past these teams and coming out with a win.
Yeah, if you look at our schedule, our schedule is second to none. We have a top-level schedule as far as competition. Like I said, Northrop starting out, and we travel to Eastside, the second game on Saturday, which is going to be over there, a really good program. Coach Abbott does a phenomenal job over there. And before Christmas, we'll see Northside, we'll see Dwinger. We added Manchester, who will probably be ranked in 2A. We have Central Noble, who has a lot of people back, and then you have Snyder before Christmas. And that's not counting the Carrolls, East Nobles, Huntington North. All the SAC schools basically play with the exception of a handful. And so, but that's the type of schedule I want to play. I want to play the best in the state. I don't want to schedule someone just because it looks like a victory on paper. I want us to get better throughout the season and get our program to the point where not only are we competing with those teams, we're winning. Right. And so we're on that track.
Well, last year it was so exciting as we got through the season and got to sectionals and got that sectional win under our belt. And that was it was so important, I think, for the team and the program overall. Talking to the seniors today, they want to go further in this tournament. And is that one of the stretch goals we have, is peaking at the right moment and trying to take this team further down the road?
Yeah, I think we have a team that has players that are all in. And so when you have a type of team that everybody's all in, both eyes, both feet, and they want to get each other better, there's no I in it. There's no what's in it for me. Then you can set goals like that. And so our team does have some goals that, there's no bad practice. There's no excuse for not to come to every practice and give your best. You might not be hitting that practice, but that doesn't mean that's a bad practice. The only time there's a bad practice is if you're not mentally into it, or you're not ready, you didn't prepare yourself for practice, and you don't give it your all, and you're not trying to make someone else better. And so we talk about no bad practices, and that will lead us to reaching some of our goals we have for the year.
Well, and you know what, Coach, I tell you what, we wish you the best of luck getting started here in the season, coming up this Wednesday for the start of varsity action here. Obviously, we've got this great event today with the inter-squad and the scrimmage going on. Can you let our folks know a little bit more about this fundraiser that we have and this element that kind of kicks off the start of this basketball season?
Sure. We've had this for probably about 4 or 5 years here now for the program. It's a pancake breakfast where the community comes in. Our players serve them breakfast. We have some of the moms and dads help out behind the scenes with making the pancakes, sausage, and all that. And then after that, we have a program-wide inter-squad scrimmage starting with 6th grade. Then we go 7th and 8th, and all the way up through the varsity. And it's just a good way to kick off our season. Let whoever wants to come in to watch it, and the money goes half of whatever people buy for the pancakes. The players get to take that off their practice packs.
Fantastic.
And so it's a good way for them to kind of keep the practice pack amount at a lower cost than what it would be if we didn't have it.
Okay, fantastic. Well, and that's something that it's such a big program. It's such a great program here that we end up having for DeKalb basketball. Coach, you've been here now for a few years, had a few seasons now under your belt. how do you feel getting at the start of this season with this squad? I mean, I tell you what, I get pretty excited when I take a look at this roster. It seems to me like we are setting ourselves up for a great start to this season and a great season of basketball.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this team. What we have is a good problem. We have a lot of players that can play varsity minutes. We're probably 10 or 11 deep. And so in practice, unlike the past couple years that I've been here, our practices are real competitive because it's varsity going against varsity.
Right.
And so that will make us better. It is a team which quickness will be more of a strength, and we don't have a lot of height. So we have to play maybe a different style than what we have in the past. So I think as a coach and our coaching staff, what the challenge is what can we do that will mold this team to become the best that they can. And so that's what we're constantly doing, is just evaluating and rolling out some things and adding some things. And so it's a fun group of kids. They love being around them. They keep me young, and that's why I coach, is for teams like this and what we've had the past couple years. And so as I tell people, I got to have a team that I won't mind losing with because I know we give it our all.
Right.
And that's the key.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, before we end up going, first and foremost, once again, we want to wish you the best of luck. Fans, come on out. Make sure to stop in here at DeKalb High School on Wednesday at 6 o'clock for junior varsity action as we get ready for the start of the varsity season up against a great competitor in Northrop.
Yep.
And, Coach, any final shout-outs you have to our listeners and viewers today?
Well, I'd like to give a shout-out to all the moms and dads who helped get this season started off right today and making the pancakes, and especially shout out to my wife who is very supportive, and my kids, Lily and Hunter, who I love to death, and just to keep things real for me. And so a shout out to them. And Bear Nation, come out Wednesday, support us. We got a fun team, and we're excited to get this season rolling.
Coach, it's a pleasure to have you here on the show. Best of luck.
Thank
Thanks so
you,
much
Joe.
for being here on
All
the
right.
program. And, of course, folks, it's time for us to end up having a little bit more information out here to let you know about some of our great sponsors of our program on DeKalb Sports Talk. FC Tucker, Malcolm & Schluter Realtors, Northeast Indiana's premier residential and commercial realtors. Always putting clients first. And that's Gibson's Heating and Plumbing, the most reliable on-time plumbing, heating, and air conditioning specialist serving Northeast Indiana. Kelly Southern State Farm, providing the best value and service for your home, auto, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Jamel Flooring, delivering you the floor of your dreams. Classic City Body and Paint, we meet by accident. Smith Farms Manor, DeKalb County's premier senior living community. And Nixon Homes, come home to quality. Nixon Homes Incorporated of Auburn. And, of course, we're talking once again with head coach Brett Eltroth of the Lady Barons. Coach Eltroth, it's a pleasure to have you here on the show this morning.
Always a pleasure, Joe. Thank you.
Well, I tell you what, that's something that basketball here at DeKalb can't get more exciting. That's something that's been so much fun. You've got to start to the season right now. You've got 4 games under your belt. Last night on the road at Garrett, wow, what an incredible game. And, Coach, I think everybody was so excited to see the ladies jump out to a big lead in the first quarter and take it all the way down the stretch and leave it an exciting game at the fourth quarter, putting their hearts on the line. They played great defensively. Offensively, they were hitting some big threes as well. And I tell you what, I looked at it from the aspect of, you know what, we seemed to control the turnovers and really took a lot away defensively from the Garrett Railroaders.
Absolutely. I mean, I was really proud of our effort, our energy. And this past week and a half, we've had about 7 consecutive days of practice. And I thought we really ironed out a lot of things, controlling our turnovers, having better half-court offense, better quality possessions. And it was just great to see it all come together in that first quarter. We outscored them 15-9. Everyone was contributing well. And most importantly, we were defending well as a team. And I thought that was probably the biggest key, because Garrett has been putting up some points. They have a very balanced team. They have 2 very quick guards at freshmen, and then they have 3 seniors that have been playing varsity basketball for 4 years now. And I thought we played really well against a great team in Garrett, and Coach Lapadot does such a great job there. And what I was most proud about, just like I've said, I've become a broken record here, but this entire season we've had one real bad lull in each game, but we come out fighting in the second half, and I believe we've won every second half this season. And we did it again. We were down 10 points with 3 minutes to go, and with all the effort that we put out there and all the energy we expended on defense and moving the ball, we had good shots last night. They just didn't fall, and that happens sometimes. So the only thing you can control is your energy and how you respond to adversity. And I thought we did a great job of responding to that. And then we came back, got right back into it and got 36-33, I think, with 5 seconds to go. And we couldn't get that steal that we needed, and Garrett, to their credit, hit their free throws down the stretch, and I was just really proud of how we've been playing. And I honestly do say this. I know it can be a cliche, but I honestly do think we are getting better each and every day at practice, each and every day in games. And these girls, they like each other, which I think is important to have. And I think they really do truly play for each other. They don't care who's in the game. They care about finding a way to help the team get better. And their energy and effort, they just it's contagious. We have a good chemistry. They care about, the team on the floor is the team of the moment. And I've just been really happy with how they've been competing, because I know when we're not getting the positive results on the scoreboard, I'm seeing a lot of positive improvements each and every day in practice and in games, and I think that's coming along. I mean, we're taking steps. It might be baby steps at times, but we are getting better, and that's what you want to do. You want to be playing your best basketball come sectional time. And I keep telling the girls, you keep working hard, you keep challenging each other, and we're going to find a way over the hump.
Well, that defensive presence last night was so impressive, and when I think about teams that gel at the right time coming in the end of the season for sectional play, defense is the key to those wins. And last night, I got to tell you, Paige Pettis, every last lady on that court last night was bringing it when it comes to defense. But Paige Pettis on the boards, on the rebounds, on the steals, was on fire and ended up having 10 points offensively as well. She ended up being our defensive player of the game last night, sponsored by Feller & Clark Funeral Homes. So we'll put a big shout out to her and all the efforts she had. And it just seemed like she stepped up and found another gear last night and really shined.
Yeah, we worked with her this week at practice, and I talked with her and I said, hey, you know what? When you're in a stance and you're playing defense, you can definitely affect the game. You can definitely affect shots, and you can put yourself in positions, because I think she has a good knack of seeing things and anticipating. And I showed her a couple things of film. There was a time when she was standing straight up, and there was a loose ball that she almost got her legs taken out from under her, and she just didn't get that. And I just said, here's a simple example. If you're in a stance right there, you have that steal and you're going the other way. And I just thought she was very physical with a big presence in Camden Bodie.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention. Now, Camden Bodie arguably is one of the best posts that is in the area in Northeast Indiana, and you can tell by the stats. And for Paige to end up having that presence and really overpowering last night really showed her level of athleticism.
Absolutely, and we knew that Paige would have a good game because we knew Camden Bodie was going to stay and try to protect the rim. And unfortunately, Paige had a couple shots that didn't fall early, but we, the coaching staff, her teammates kept saying, hey, you got to keep shooting it. And she started to get into a little bit of a rhythm there in the second half, because she is a great shooter. And when you have a post and you can try to drag people out like that, I think she can affect the games just in that presence as well. And the physicality, that was probably the best defensive game she's ever had. And
I would have to agree, Coach. That was really impressive.
And I would like to. And I talked to her as well as we're walking out of the gym. I said, hey, that's the kind of defensive effort we need every night. And she's going to have another opportunity here tonight.
That's right.
Against Malia Leatherman, who I would say is the best post player in Northeast Indiana, because Leatherman is constantly moving. She is relentless. If you take one cut away, she's going to take 2 or 3 more cuts before she gets the ball. And she knows how to do something with it, with her shot or taking it up, back to the basket.
Well, and let's. I'm gonna refer right back to the offensive player of the game last night, sponsored by DeKalb Health, and that's going to end up being Addison Ruby. And then we're going to get back to tonight's action, because when we're facing off against basically the reigning state champions in their class, Central Noble is a tough force to be reckoned with. But last night we ended up seeing 13 points from Addison Ruby, and she ended up closing in on 4 threes last night.
Yes, Addie is a gym rat.
15,
She's constantly.
Yeah, she's signaling. I appreciate that. It's unofficial scoring that we keep.
Thanks for keeping him honest, Addie. Addie does a great job.
Yes.
She is a gym rat. She's constantly working on her game. And, this year we've put some challenges on her. I saw in her AAU team she was running a lot of point. And, I thought that was a great experience for her because she kind of got used to having that pressure on her. And, there's been games where, we haven't taken care of the ball very well. But you look at the body of work that Addie has put together with ball handling. I mean, if you looked at her first game against Heritage and then her game last night, you see the improvement that she's put in. And she is a great shooter. She works a lot on her shot. I know she's had a wrist injury that's kind of been nagging her for a little bit, but it seemed to be doing real well last night. And she was able to move without the basketball. We were able to get her off the point a little bit, and she was able to catch and finish down low. We had a nice little drive that she had, and her outside shooting was phenomenal as well. And most importantly, just being the floor leader out there.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And there's another stat I want to focus in on, a key stat of the game, and Addie is a very important step to this. It was 100% free throw shooting last night.
Yeah.
I believe she was 1 for 1.
1 for 1, yep.
And the team was 1 for 1, so 100% on free throws. You can't beat a stat like that.
The only stat we'd like to have better is maybe about 10, 15 free throws and have 100%. But yes, that is we were 100%.
We were 100%, and so you can't deny the facts. The numbers don't lie, Coach.
Correct.
And now we sit back and we take a look, and we're going to focus now back on Central Noble. Again, this is the reigning state championship in their class, coming off of a state win. They've got an incredible program, incredible depth as well. Now, when I see the defense step up like we did against Garrett, I can only think we're going to see a lot of the same tonight and have a really exciting opportunity to face off against one of the biggest competitors in Northeast Indiana.
Well, I'd like to say just a couple things. I mean, here at DeKalb, we've had the benefit of playing many state-ranked teams in my 5 years here. So I think the girls are used to having that type of pressure, and I think our girls are getting to the point where they understand that pressure is not something that you should hide from. It actually heightens the senses. It makes you more focused on the little things, and I think that we're going to play really well tonight. And one thing we've been talking about a lot here at the beginning of the year is we want to shock some people, and I think we're going to be playing some good basketball here down the stretch, and we'll just see what happens tonight. I mean, we had a nice film session this morning on Central Noble. I mean, it's a quick turnaround. We talked a little bit about Garrett and talked about the positives, what we need to get better at, and then we started focusing on Central Noble. Coach Kirkpatrick had a nice scouting report for us. We as a coaching staff, we came up with we believe a good game plan, and we're going to see if we can go out there and execute it and give us a shot at getting the win.
Well, I tell you what, great moments come from great opportunities. Tonight we face a great opportunity, and best of luck tonight and throughout the rest of the season, Coach. Any final shout-outs you have before we talk to some of the Lady Barons?
I just want to give a shout-out to my wife and 3 daughters. I know during the season it's pretty tough because I'm gone a lot, and these girls on the basketball team are kind of my secondary daughters as well, and I look out for each and every one of them, and it's like a second family. And I want to give a shout out to them. I also want to give a shout out to my coaching staff. We've had to, because of different situations, we've had a whole new coaching staff, and I've just been really thrilled with these assistants, and it's been great to have coaching meetings, bouncing ideas off of each other, and just keep working and getting to know each other and working off of each other. And I just want to give a shout out to them as well. So, and a shout out to Joe Snyder for all of his positivity. I just got done telling Coach Kirkpatrick, we tried to get him to come up here, and we said, Joe Snyder will make you feel so good about yourself no matter what happened the night before. He's one of the most powerful, positive people ever. So,
well, I tell you
when
what,
you get your book, when you write your positive book, we'll definitely get a copy of that.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, that's something that's pretty easy to be positive when you have great folks like you making these programs special for the students of this community. Thank you so much for all.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Coach,
that.
Best of luck this season.
Thank you.
And tonight especially. And, of course, folks, it's time for us to talk a little bit more about some of our great sponsors here on the program. We're going to end up talking a little bit about Best Deal Auto Sales. That's something they end up making car buying a fun, hassle-free experience. The Forget-Me-Not Boutique. You'll be amazed at the amazing treasures that await you. The Forget-Me-Not Boutique. Big Red Sports, where DeKalb County goes for spirit wear. DeKalb Chiropractic, dedicated to helping you achieve your wellness objectives. Bernadette Salon, where DeKalb County goes to look good and to look their very best. Little John's Auctions, Northeast Indiana's professional choice auction service. I tell you what, folks, make sure to join and visit all of these great sponsors here on Barron Sports Talk and honor them with your business because they do so much to support us here back at this programming. And we are joined once again on the show with some of the greatest athletes and program supporters here at DeKalb. We've got Kirsten Butler and we've got Addison Ruby, both having an incredible night last night, an incredible presence on the floor. Now, Kirsten, I got to tell you, the defense you were bringing last night was just absolutely powerful. You were basically interchanging with Bethany Kelly, and the two of you were putting some serious pressure out there on the court against the Garrett Railroaders.
Yeah, BK and I, we've been playing together since like 7th grade, and we've always been the smallest ones on the court, so we've always been paired up together and having to interchange frequently together, so we've had a lot of practice with it.
Well, one of the things I saw last night was you had to pretty much guard and protect against Anthony at different times last night. She was bringing some serious pressure, Beavers as well, and that was some really tough competitors in Garrett, and you were really holding back the onslaught and really preventing some big shots, and even the ball from passing back and forth had a chance to basically get in there and divert some shots and basically get some boards and really add to the team's premise. Can you let us know in that moment how big it is for you to play in a game with that kind of exposure?
Okay, I will, but I bought one of these raffle tickets.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it sounds
It's
like
not me.
Janet Schiffley won one of the raffle tickets. And we're getting started with
We
the
didn't win it,
scrimmage.
Abby.
Yeah.
We didn't win it.
The scrimmage is starting off, I believe this is 6th grade right now, correct? As we take a look down on the floor.
No, this is
7th
Seventh
graders.
grade,
See
seventh
Grant
graders.
Stuckey out
Yeah,
there
Grant Stuckey's
balling it
got
up.
That's right. And so there's Coach Rod Cohn. Yeah, he's down there letting everybody know about the great things happening. But yeah, so let's talk about that environment and what it means to have to step up against an incredible competitor here in the county of Garrett Railroaders.
Yeah, Garrett's a difficult team to play defense against just because they have Bodie on the inside with that presence, but they also have so many shooters on the outside. So, you have to find the balance of, do I shade in and help protect from Bodie, or do I go out and guard all these shooters that they have, because each one of their point guards can hit the three, and it was difficult to find that adjustment, but we got it figured out, and we went with it.
Well, I tell you what, it was an exciting element last night, and that was something, as we came out of the first quarter, the team had the lead, and that was something that was the first time this season the team had the lead coming out of that first quarter, and going into the second half, we found ourselves behind, but found ourselves within a one-possession game at the end. How great was it as a feeling as a member on that court last night to have that kind of a showing against such a tough competitor in Garrett?
We've always had good games against Garrett. One thing about them being our county rivals is, we go into each game, and it's just a matter of each team wants it equally as much, and they're a great competitor every year. It's never a blowout game. It's always interesting. There's never bad tensions on the court. It's just basketball.
Well, and I think that was one of the great things about last night, and there was actually a big showing last night. It was their Pink Out event for cancer awareness, and it seemed to be that was a great moment and a great time for us to get together as a community here in DeKalb County to celebrate that together and have some fun athletically out there on the court and exhibit our skills as a team and as athletes. As a senior and as a leader here at the school, what does it mean for you to be out there and share your kind of leadership and your great example in sportsmanship to others?
Yeah, it was a great experience. Senior at Garrett, Mackenzie Castleman, reached out to me and asked if I could help them with their Pink Out night, and so here at DeKalb we sold a couple shirts. Each of the players got a T-shirt. All of our cheerleaders bought a T-shirt. So I'd been talking to her for a couple weeks now, just back and forth about different things, and even then it wasn't just about the Pink Out game. Every now and then it was basketball, it was school. So
right.
just being able to communicate. She's a leader on their team as well, and just seeing, just to have that conversation with somebody else. She gets everything. So it's more than basketball sometimes, and it's great.
Absolutely. Now, when I sit back and take a look at it, we have had so many fun moments, different interviews that we've had, and that's something that Kirsten, I got to tell you, it is always fun, and it's always great to have you on the show. When you think about the leadership that you want to bring to the community and to the school, what does that look like as a legacy to you, and what do you want to have as a legacy as a player on the court and in this community?
It's just leading by example. I know it's difficult for some people to be a leader. it's something everybody wants to be. It's something most people try to be. But the fact that my team accepts it from me and accepts that I want to be a leader, and they like, if I ask them to do something, they'll do it, if they'll listen. And it's great that I can help and take some of the pressure off of the coaches as well, just because if I need something done, I can get it done. And if they need something done and they need me to relay it, that happens as well. And it's just great that the team's accepting and that they understand that sometimes it's going to come from another player instead of a coach.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, hang right here with us. We're going to be right back to you in a minute, but we're going to focus on Addison Ruby now. And you know what? I got to tell you, I had so much fun last night watching you ladies play basketball, and that was something that it was really great when I got to watch you out there with a lot of this offensive action. Now, I apologize. I had you down for 13 unofficially. It was
okay.
15, but that was something. What was it? Last night you ended up hitting 4 threes from the perimeter. Now, was that the biggest three-point game that you had so far career-wise?
Yeah.
I thought it was for some reason. And now, what was it the element of competition? Was it that? What was it?
I'm going to bust in. It wasn't anything. It was Addie's birthday, and that's what it was.
Oh, happy belated birthday. Fantastic.
Thanks.
Congratulations to you. That's exciting. See,
Thank you.
that's an important stat information that we need to know. You need to let us know that stuff so we can announce it prior or during the game
All right.
to put those shots. But we've got it here today on the show, so that works out good. So it was birthday energy that ended up propelling you to those 4 threes. What was it like for you?
It
to
was
score
awesome.
that in a career
That
game?
was so much fun. That's the most fun I've had in a game.
Well, and as we were talking about, honing in on 100% free throw shooting.
Yeah.
Now,
It was difficult, that one free throw.
Well, it might only be one, but it's still 100%. And, one of the things that ends up happening is how many folks can end up saying that they shot 100% from the line in any one given game, let
Well,
alone. Now, do you have a goal to end up hitting 100% from the line all season?
Yeah, I mean,
All
that'd
right.
be awesome.
Now, is there any kind of special recognition that when you sit back and take a look at your teammates and all the exceptional play that happened last night, is there anybody on the team that really stuck out to you, in addition to yourself, that had that extra effort that really just shined in last night's game?
Yeah, Paige was killing it last
She
night.
was, wasn't she?
She was awesome on defense and offense. Like, her shot wasn't falling in the first half, but she kept shooting, and she got those shots in. And just on both ends of the court, she was just killing it.
Well, I tell you what, overall, the team did so incredible defensively. I have never seen so much of an improvement in such a short period of time defensively from any core of players. How does that feel to come out of a game with that kind of energy and excitement, knowing that you're getting ready to face another competitor tonight that doesn't know what kind of force we have defensively?
It was great. Like, I think it just fully set us up for this game. Like, this is much tougher opponent. They have 2 Division I players, and I don't know, it just set us up for it. Like, I think we'll be more prepared for the game.
Well, even though last night was your birthday and you hit those 4 from the the perimeter, do you have a special stretch goal tonight to try and see if you can improve on that and see if you can kind of set the pace offensively?
Well, I definitely want to keep shooting, and I want to drive more. And, like, hopefully we can get, like, space out more, get more looks.
And, for the whole team, one of the things that is very interesting, this is our 4th game of the season. We're getting ready for Game 5. What kind of things are you looking at as far as the improvement that we've made, and what direction do you think we need to keep on going to try and add on to that level of success we saw last night?
We've improved a lot, and I think we just need to keep communicating and keep working together. Because last night our chemistry was awesome, and I think that's what helped us so much.
And one of the things that I noticed is it looked like you ladies were just having fun executing. Was that?
Definitely.
And that's something that I think that there's such a key element to that when you love the game and you have such a passion for what you're doing out there in the court. It really transcends, and the fans really connect with that. How exciting is it for you when you go into a stadium on the road and see more fans from your school on the road than what the home team hosts?
It was awesome. It was just a great atmosphere last night.
And what, I got to ask you, that's something each of you have heard this before. What is it like for you? I'm going to ask you first. What is it like for you when the crowd goes nuts cheering for the level of excitement and energy you've brought in the game?
It's awesome. Like, our bench was going crazy. The crowd was going crazy. It just, like, brought my whole, like, I don't know. It was just awesome.
It really was. And Kirsten, I know you've had moments like this too, and that's something that I know at different times. I was having a tough time staying in my seat watching the excellent play out there. What is it like for you to know that you've got that kind of support and have that crowd just jump up in excitement for the team?
I mean, it's great. It's just, that everybody's right there behind you, and it's amazing. And I mean, me personally, it's great when they cheer for me, but like I know Paige last night had an awesome block, and I mean, I'm just off the bench and going crazy. And then you look down the bench and everybody's right there with you, and then you know, like, the whole team's in it together, and it's a great feeling.
It really is. And now, Addie, we're going to return to you now. Hey, I got to ask you, what final thoughts and shout-outs do you have for our viewers and listeners today on today's program?
Just shout out to all the fans that made it last night. Made it a great experience, and come out tonight for a game against Central Nova.
I saw some special people from your family that were out there supporting you in Big Force last night. Can you go ahead and put some mentions out there and do some name dropping?
Yeah, thanks to my dad and my brother for making it home for a game, and my mom, my sisters, and my stepdad.
I saw all of them out there supporting you in that big cheer block, and you know what? When you were out there performing and seeing them and the rest of the crowd support you that way, it was such a wonderful thing. And I want to put a special shout out there to your brother Colton as well, coming back on his Thanksgiving break, and being here to show that support. And that's something that it's always important for us to end up having alumni come back, and that's something that as you ladies end up looking at your career as you move forward and get past your senior year. Now, I have to ask you for that commitment on the program. Are you going to come back and support us so we can put those name shout-outs for you on Barron TV?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Rumor has it Allison Marlowe's showing up tonight. So
Fantastic. Fantastic. And another great name there when we sit back and take a look at these wonderful alumni. What kind of final thoughts and shout-outs do you have for our listeners, Kirsten?
I mean, just thank you everybody that came last night. It was a great experience. My shout-out's going to Coach Kirkpatrick. He said he was going to be listening in, but I don't know if he is. Should have been here.
Well, I tell you what. Now, any other fans and family members you'd like to shout out here today?
My whole family came out last night, and a couple of my cousins. One of my little cousins plays for the Junior Lady Barons, so she came out last night, and
That's
it was great to
awesome.
see them there. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I tell you what, we wish you ladies the best of luck tonight's game and the rest of this season. We look to have you back on Sports Talk as much as possible. I tell you what, heartfully from all of us here at BTV, we want to thank you for being here, and we look forward to having you on the show more often.
All right, thanks
you.
you.
Again,
Thank
Kirsten
you.
Butler and Addison Ruby. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
And, of course, folks, we want to thank you for being part of Sports Talk here this morning. And that's something that, when we sit back and take a look at the highlights of what we have for some of these special athletes and these folks that are bringing the best of what DeKalb County offers, we want to share their experiences with you here on Barron TV, along with AES and YCN, your community network where DeKalb County comes home. We want to thank you for watching today's program. Please tune back in again next Saturday at 10:30 for another live program here on Barron TV as we have Sports Talk. We'll be back once again at Ben Davis Ford for next week's episode. And, of course, we want to thank you for watching this week, and we want to mention the generosity of the following program sponsors. Once again, Auburn Essential Services, DeKalb Health, Steel Dynamics Incorporated, Bowles Frozen Desserts, Smith Teas, Feller and Clark Funeral Homes, Gibson's Heating and Plumbing, FC Tucker, Malcolm and Schluter Realtors, Kelly Southern State Farm, Albright's One Stop Grocery and Supermarket in Corona, Jamel Flooring, the Ben Davis Auto Group, Brown & Brown Insurance, Nixon Homes, Classic City Body and Paint, Smith Farms Manor, Joyce Hefty Koval Insurance Agency, Betts Nursing Home, Beacon Credit Union, Metal Technologies, Vision Source, Mefford Weber and Blythe Attorneys at Law, Indiana Physical Therapy, Auburn Dental Associates, Taylor Rental, Best Deal Auto Sales, Bernadette Salon, The Forget Me Not Boutique, Big Red Sports, Jeremiah's, DeKalb Chiropractic, and Drive Ride Academy. And as always, folks, this is Joe Snyder from Barron TV. And don't stop until the whistle blows. welcome you back to Barron Sports Talk here with Joe Snyder once again on Barron TV. And hey, we've got a special edition right now. We're talking to none other than Travis Gaff, the head coach of wrestling here at DeKalb. And I got to tell you, Coach Gaff, we just ended up having the inter-squad scrimmage here just this past week. A great event. Hey, there were some surprises out there with these wrestlers. Can you let us know a little bit about our squad this year and basically some of the current events that are going on?
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, we had intra-squad on Wednesday. Talk about that here in a little bit. But today we actually have our JV guys are in action today over at West Noble. I think there's like 22 teams over there. Just big tournament. They kind of try and group them all as close as they can. And Coach Baker's over there with them, and he's texting me. He said they got there's 5 rounds, and all of our guys had a bye first round. Caleb Hermy at 195 picked up a big win by pin in the second round, and they're partway through the second round right now.
Well, you know, that's something I got to tell you. One of the big things I'm excited about with wrestling this year is the youth talent that we have in this program. We got to watch the inter-squad scrimmage here this past week, and wow, there is a lot of potential talent coming up early and young into this wrestling squad.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we've got a lot of freshmen on the roster right now, which is good. But it's you know it's good because it will be good eventually. But
exactly.
As a freshman, especially in a sport like wrestling, it's really difficult to come in and just be absolutely awesome right off the bat.
Well, wrestling is so much about technique and experience and having that opportunity over and over again to get to that point. And, you know, so much of that shows in the competitive wrestlers who are out there. And many times it's guys that are wrestling, say, all year round. That's a big key to this is getting that experience and really practicing on those techniques.
Yeah, absolutely. Technique's a huge part of it. You know, and like I said, for our freshmen, a lot of them had great success in middle school. We've got some great middle school coaches over there. You know, Coach DeVos, Mike DeVos, he is a co-freshman football coach with me as well. And Jeff Miskovich over there at the middle school, they do a great job.
Yes, they do.
I think those guys, I can't remember, finished second or third in the conference last year. And they're telling me that they might be better this year.
Well, see, you know, that's one of the things I think is fantastic about this, and the depth that we end up having in our program here at Varsity is really that base that gets started when they are in that middle school program and working up that level of experience. And, you know, Coach, we're going to kind of walk this up, starting with our freshman class and then going forward to our sophomore, junior, and then senior class. And if you could, highlight the different players that are on our freshman squad and pretty much the weight classes that they represent and what they represent as players.
Okay, so just going off of, you know, wrestling's kind of a weird thing is, you know, instead of most sports, you get kind of coach's decision as far as, all right, this person's a starter, this person's varsity, this person's JV, and so on and so forth. You know, in wrestling, it's if you want that spot, you have to beat the guy that has that spot.
Exactly.
So that's what our inter-squad meet was all about. And then we'll have wrestle-offs that are, you know, non-public during the year, throughout the course of the year, to kind of keep updating things and see what we've got. But as of right now, we have I'll count here for a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 6. Well, there's 14 varsity weight classes. We're going to have 6 freshmen wrestling varsity next week.
Exactly. And that was I think coming out of the scrimmage was the part of it that was exciting to me, seeing this young talent fighting for their chance to be varsity members.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to talk about that intra-squad for a little bit, there were some very good matches.
Yes,
I was very impressed with, honestly, how competitive a lot of the matches were. Very even. You know, it wasn't for a varsity spot, but I thought Gavin Hopkins and Jace Benson wrestled each other. Gavin and Jace are going to be, as we get on into the season, probably Gavin will be our varsity 120 and Jace will be a varsity 126-pounder. To start with, they're going to be kind of jumbled a little bit because they got a little bit of weight to lose, and they'll gradually work the weight down instead of crashing all at once. So they're probably going to be 132 and 126 to start with.
Well, and I want to kind of focus in on those matches just a little bit from that scrimmage, because when we talk about competition, it's not uncommon on a decision that you can end up having a technical basically a technical decision, if you will, or a technical fault, if you get to a 15-point difference between wrestlers. We didn't see that. And
nope, not
in
one
addition
time.
to not seeing that, that's something that one of the things that was really amazing is even some of the pins didn't happen until we were into the third
well
section
into the
and
third.
late into the
yeah.
with basically points that many times didn't spread any more than maybe 1 to 3 points. These were tight matches in well wrestled positions from each one of these players.
Absolutely. You know, we had our varsity 220 and our varsity heavyweight wrestle in the last match of the evening, which was a fantastic match.
Incredible.
You know, because
it was like the main event.
Yeah, it was
exciting.
I was so glad, you know, I was kind of mixing and matching and throwing stuff, and I was glad that was kind of the last match of the night because, you know, it pits two different styles. You know, Jacob, our heavyweight, is kind of a big lumbering, you know, kill him with strength and size, and, you know, Lucas, his, you know, especially being a defensive end, that's an all-conference defensive end, he's athletic, he's long, and he's fast.
Right.
So, you know, that's one of the things. Lucas wrestled, I think, 182 for us last year, going up to 220 this year. I think he has potentially maybe semi-state type quality because of his unique combination of strength and speed.
Well, you know, and I think that was something that watching that match, I saw two great athletes who were friends, who respected each other.
They're laughing the whole time.
They were having a great time and having so much fun in it, but at the same time, you could see their level of competition rise and take their individual skills. And I'm telling you what, that one came right down to the last few seconds of that third.
Absolutely.
That third
I think Lucas ended up getting the fall with like 2 seconds on their third period.
That was all that was left was 2 seconds in that before that happened. And I got to tell you.
And I think it was a 1-point match up until that.
Yeah. And you know, I asked both of them afterwards because they were both, you know, they were willing to share with me their experience. They both had a great time. They enjoyed it immensely. And at the same time, I asked them both. I said, "What can you tell us? What can you tell me about that round and that match that you had?" And both of them looked at me and said, "I'm tired." They got a workout like nothing else.
Absolutely.
It was definitely a fight to the finish.
Yeah, I agree. That was a fantastic match, and you know there was a little bit of rivalry there too because I had it set up so that, you know, half the guys were on the black team and half the guys were on the red team. And going into that last match, the cumulative total through 2 rounds was, I think the black team had like 53 and the red team had 51. So whoever won that match was going to decide it. And, you know, Coach Baker's over there coaching the black team, and Coach Peterson's over coaching the red team. And Baker's like, "Roller, don't you screw this up." He wanted to have the bragging rights there. So I try to be nice and impartial there so that I'll just sit there. I sit there with the camera for the intra-squad and let my assistants do the coaching.
Hey, who were the standouts coming out of that scrimmage, getting those varsity positions that basically rose above and jumped into a spot by surprise?
Well, that was a great match. We had a great match at 160 between J.D. Shearer and Carter Miller. Both of them are right around 160. JD's a little under it. Carter's a little over it. He's going to have just a little bit of work to do to get down to 160. But they wrestled. Carter won 4-3. I was kind of joking with him in practice yesterday, making fun of him for winning a match without actually scoring a takedown. He had 2 reversals. He didn't get a takedown, but he won 4-3, which against, you know, both of those guys returning varsity letter winners, both of them very accomplished wrestlers. So JD he's about 156 right now. He's going to cut down. He's going to lose 4 pounds in the next week or so, and I think next Saturday he's going to wrestle 152 for us. So they'll both be varsity, but that was a great match. In all honesty, with JD being a senior and Carter being a sophomore, that one was kind of a little bit of a surprise for me. I knew Carter was a good wrestler. I just didn't know that he was going to pull off the upset over JD.
And that was, you know, and that was something that I think a lot of folks, when we watched, you know, we were sitting there watching and stunned in amazement at how well they were matched up. I mean, these are 2 great athletes going out and both of them giving 100% effort.
Yeah.
It was amazing to see that competitive edge and that desire. And you know, that's one of them that I could see, you know, through the season, as you said. Many times there's challenges at different times, and so that position
that may flip-flop.
That could flip-flop throughout the season, different times. And I think we should all be prepared for that because these are 2 strong competitors in that class. You know, another athlete that really sticks out to me in the wrestling program is Rowe.
Oh yeah, Blake is. Blake, unique situation, transferred to us from Eastside after his freshman year. He was a regional qualifier at Eastside as a freshman, which is fantastic, especially in, you know, those middleweights are tough. You know, sometimes you get a little bit of fluff in the upper weights and you get a few forfeits in the lower weights, but when you get in that middle where the majority of the kids are, that's hard.
It really is. And, you know, another one that stood out to me as far as a great matchup or somebody that really kind of took it to another level on scrimmage night was Benson.
Oh, Benson was awesome.
Oh my goodness! And that was I was so excited to see that. And I believe he's a freshman as well,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, Benson's a freshman. Hopkins I thought
Hopkins
wrestled
did-
really well.
Hopkins
He's
did
also a
great.
freshman. Again, I said Benson and Hopkins match was fantastic match.
Yeah.
With Blake though, like last year, due to his transfer, he was only able to wrestle JV all last year. He went
Right.
23-0 with 19 falls.
But now we have that opportunity for him on varsity.
Yeah, and so now he gets his shot. Now, he's gonna be our varsity 170. So now you look at that lineup. You've got Shearer, you've got Miller, you've got Rowe, all there right in a line. Our upper weights are going to be pretty tough. And the best thing is they're all multi-sport athletes.
That's right.
Our 152, 160, 170, 195, 220, 285, all of them play football and wrestle, and I think most of them also do track as well. So we really try to encourage that.
Yeah, and let's take I'm going to take a back step real quick, and let's kind of focus on last season and take a look at where we were last year and where we're moving to this year and how that looks, because everybody knows as far as these team meets, it's the points, the cumulative points that the team ends up having. We ended up having a few weight classes that were empty slots that it's basically a default 0,
Yeah.
if you will.
Yeah, you're giving up 6 points.
But it looks to me like we are filled out more fully this season as a squad to be able to not have a blank there. There is the potential for points in those areas for better team point scoring.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this year our team's a lot smaller than I thought. We had, I think, 27 at the start of last season, 27, 28, which ideally you want to be a little bit north of 30. But we're, again, a program that's trying to build numbers back up. We've had a lack of success, and we're getting better and better and better. This is definitely going to be, I think, our best year that we've had under me. Obviously we've got a lot of great tradition. I'm only the 4th head coach in program history.
That's right.
But under Tom Blackburn, had some great success. Jason Hunter came before me. He was my head coach, did a great job. Then stepped down.